The China Institute has been dedicated to teaching American kids Chinese. Are there more or less American kids learning Chinese now compared to a decade ago? Is there a visible trend? Are there problems you see in the Chinese education industry in the US?
So that's a really interesting question. I'll just say hello first. Hi, everybody. I'm James Heimowitz. I'm the president of China Institute. 我是华美基金社社长贺志明. So you bring up something very interesting. I'm kind of worried, Tim. I'm worried because I see a global phenomenon of people looking inward as opposed to looking outward. And I think it's equally true in the United States as it is in China. And it also happens to be a phenomenon that's, affecting many countries around the planet, whether we look at Brazil or Russia or Israel or Hungary. I can just go on and on, all the same places where we have nationalistic movements, strong, some would say authoritarian leaders. And the result has been a lot of, I think, I would call de-engagement. And that's not a healthy thing. I come from a school and I strongly believe that engagement is really, really important. So we do see interest. It's funny, we just had a sort of early Chinese New Year celebration with a visiting group that came from Suzhou, and we had like 550 people show up. And one of the visiting people, some of the things famous for this, that Suzhou is famous for is Kunqiu, a kind of traditional opera, and Pingtan, a kind of sort of folk ballad singing, common in particular to Jiangsu and to Suzhou. And we had all different people here, young kids, black kids, white kids, Chinese, old and adult, everything. And one of them remarked to me and said, James, it's such a delight to see so many people here. It's not true. Americans don't hate China when they get to experience it. And I think that being separated for 3 years of pandemic, no flights, no movement, no engagement, no cultural, educational, scientific, business, diplomatic, all suspended, has put us in a frosty place. And we need to reconnect with each other through all of those kinds of things and platforms that I've said. So all throughout, we've had a mainstay of people who think like I do, that this relationship is paramount and really important, and have participated and learned about their stuff, even if it was online. And now as we come back, I think we're going to see a concerted effort in a space where we can begin to reconnect. And I see that happening first on educational, social, sports kinds of things, business perhaps, before we see an improvement on the political front. So overall, I think it has actually remained pretty constant. And I think that, people are interested in learning it, are still there. Even through the pandemic, Tim, our enrollment was pretty stable and steady across the board. So I think that speaks to what I just said, pretty stable in that regard. Well, there's always room for improvement for everything. And, we work closely. We have, the school was one of the first things that we started almost 100 years ago. So we really think about, how do we strive to maintain that excellence, particularly in the professional development component of things, where we are training teachers how to teach about China, whether it's language or culture or history or all those things. And we work closely. I think, one of the things I said, I'm not political, but, Confucius Institutes have become highly politicized in many places. But if we go back to the really goal and inception of what they were trying to achieve, and that was to help foreign cultures and foreigners understand China, particularly through giving the tool of being able to understand China through the lens of using Chinese as a language, this is really, really critical. And so I champion some of those stated goals and think that it's really important. And there's lots of resources to us available through places like that and through our own institutional heritage and knowledge that we've gained over the years from running a school like this.